I'm pretty sure by now you've already seen this viral video on YouTube, on Facebook, Twitter about this white woman. And I know I'm gonna bring up the races because if you haven't seen the video, I don't know if YouTube already took it down or if they're gonna show you the whole doctored video where all they show you was the white woman pointing the gun at a black family. But here's the thing: I don't know if you've seen the video, but essentially this woman was being harassed by a black couple, right? Not a black couple, sorry, but a black woman and her daughter, and she felt threatened and she pulled out a gun. Now, under normal circumstances, I would say the woman with the gun shouldn't have taken out the gun. Even though I'm a huge supporter of the Second Amendment, I do believe to some degree that some things are not worthy of taking out your gun for, right? But again, that's under normal circumstances. But what's been going on the last month? Riots, people getting attacked for no reason. I don't know if you're aware, but in Provo, Utah, a person, just a regular driver who was not affiliated with anyone, right? Just trying to go home, with their families. This person got shot by a pro Black Lives Matter activist. Now, not this person in the picture. This is the suspect, apparently. But an individual, a non affiliated individual, just an everyday American, got shot just because he drove into a group of protesters. Like, he didn't even intentionally drive. He was just trying to make a turn. It turns out that the group was in his way. What happens is this person walks up to this person's car, shoots the driver. The driver just steps on, he floors it, and he just boom, like he just drives away. What about what happened in Chop or Chaz of a 16-year-old boy who was just driving around with his friend, getting literally shot to death? Right? He was killed. His 14-year no, the other one is the 14-year-old. Luckily, he's alive, from what I know. Right? But what about them? This 16-year-old boy. And if you want to know, he was black, but you don't hear Black Lives Matter cry about the brutality of Chop's police. You don't hear about that. It doesn't fit their narrative. But this 16-year-old boy just driving around, minding his own business, all of a sudden he's literally shot and killed. So this is, like I said, under normal circumstances, I would be against this woman pulling out her gun. But knowing the circumstances have been taking place, where people are just getting attacked for no reason, especially white people. White people are getting attacked for no reason whatsoever. I think under these circumstances, the current circumstances, I think this woman was in the right to pull out her gun, and I would have done the same thing. Because here's the thing. I don't carry my firearm every single day. Usually just take it when I go to work. Usually when I do night shifts. I usually do night shifts Wednesdays and Saturdays where I work. That's the only time when I carry my firearm with me. But ever since I've been seeing articles of people just getting shot by rioters and protesters, just minding their own business, by the way, I become very, very paranoid in the sense I can say, not paranoid, that's very negative. I become very cautious. And ever since then, I've been carrying my gun to me to work. Even though there's the days I literally work, morning, afternoon shifts, I carry it with me every single day now. When I go outside, I carry it with me every day. Because you never know. Who knows? Maybe I'm coming home from work, I'm minding my own business. I just got paid. I'm buying something for my girlfriend, a little present. And the next thing you know, I come across a group of protesters. They come up to my car and they shoot me. What then, right? So with everything that's going on, I carry it with me all the time. So under these current circumstances, I fully support this woman for pulling out her gun. But even though the full video has come out, by the way. Initially, Tim Pool, I learned about this through Tim Pool. Now, Tim Pool did make the mistake of jumping the gun, but at least I appreciate that he fixed this, this situation during his IRL podcast. A very good podcast, by the way. But this is why I like Tim Pool. Because he's willing to admit that he messed up. He's willing to admit that he jumped the gun. A lot of these media outlets are not willing to do that, such as the USA Today, which if you're watching the video, is what I'm showing you right now. Even though the video, even on Reddit, it's literally number one. It's literally like in the top 3 of the video. The full video has been shown. The black woman who was antagonizing this woman, I'm a color gun woman because that's the way that way you can understand what I'm talking about because it was 2 women involved. The black woman was antagonizing gun woman. Not to mention, she purposely got behind gun woman's car, hit the car 3 times with her hand, tried to claim that gun woman was trying to run her over, when in reality, the black woman was simply trying to antagonize this woman. Now, based on everything that's been going on and watching the news, I'm pretty sure these black people haven't seen the news. I'm talking about these black people specifically. But the reason why, and I think it's safe to assume, the reason why this gun woman came out with her firearm aimed towards them, not aimed towards them, but literally she drew her firearm. She was pointing it down because if you look at the video, she's literally pointing it down sideways to the left from what you're able to see. The reason why gun woman came out with her gun is because she has seen what has happened to people who just simply are minding their own business and getting attacked by these lunatics. I think it's justified. But here's the thing. Even though the video clearly shows that the black woman was the one who was escalating the problem, the media is still siding with the aggressors, not to mention labeling the aggressors as victims. Now, I'm not a huge Malcolm X fan. I never really liked Malcolm X because I think that he did more harm than good during the civil rights movement. But one of the things he did say about the media is that the media has the power to make the oppressors the victims and the victims the oppressors. Somewhere along the line. Essentially, what he meant to say that the media has the power to make the good guy into the bad guy and the bad guy into the good guy. Now, the media is doing the same thing right here. The black woman was the aggressor. She could have just simply just left this woman alone and say minding her own business. But instead, she decided to follow this woman, shout all these absurdities towards this woman, towards gun woman, and then her husband comes out and say, leave us alone. We're not doing anything to you. And then this black woman decides to make things worse by purposely getting behind gun woman's car, hitting the car 3 times, and then playing the victim when it turns out that she bit more than she could chew. This is the problem with these people. And this is why I hate the media. Because the media is going to say, oh, these poor black people, they're the victims of this racist society. When in reality, they were the ones looking for the problem. This is why it always pisses me off with society in general. They will do nothing when the bully is picking on the kids. But the moment that one kid stands up to the bully and beats the living shit out of him, all of a sudden they get involved and say, why did you beat up this kid? Why did you beat up this bully? And then you have to explain to yourself, you guys didn't do shit when the bully was picking on the kids. But all of a sudden, when the bully gets his ass kicked, all of a sudden you start getting involved. I know that feeling because I've been in that situation. I've been bullied before as a kid. I'm talking about bully like I'm talking about hit, thrown in trash cans and stuff like that. And the moment I decided to stand up to the bully and kick his ass, all of a sudden, that's when it mattered. That's when the parents came in and say, oh, how dare this kid beat my son? And that's when my parents would come in and say, you mean to tell me that this school knew that this kid was picking on my son? And the moment my son stands up for himself, that's when you start acting? And that's when you think it's a good idea to get involved? My mom was hardcore. Trust me. She knew that defending the aggressor was the typical thing for schools. The media is doing the exact same thing. The aggressors were the black mom and her daughter. But then the moment they realize, oh shit, we fuck with the wrong people because they have a gun, which is why I'm a huge supporter of having a firearm, trust me, and it's a great equalizer. All of a sudden they're like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. And the media is saying, oh, well, clearly the black people are the victims because they do not have guns. Spare me. Spare me. Now here's the thing. What I hate about the media is the fact that they literally try to paint it as the black people, this black woman and her daughter are the victims, right? And this is what happened. So apparently, from the article, it reads: a husband and wife are facing felony charges after escalating as an escalating shouting match outside the Michigan Chipotle restaurant Wednesday night. Videos of the incident cited by police show a woman who had just been called racist pointing a handgun at a black family. You want to know why this woman was called racist? Because she bumped into the woman's daughter by accident. That's why she was called racist. This is why I never take accusations of racism seriously anymore. Everything is racist, so why should I care? Seriously, why should I care? Like, if everything's racist, then nothing is, right? It's similar to the whole thing with the Incredible movie, right? With the Incredibles, where Syndrome says, when everyone's super, then no one will be. Because if everyone's a superhero, if everyone's extraordinary, then no one's really extraordinary. If everything is racist, then nothing is racist. Right? That couch is racist. That lamp is racist. That water bottle is racist. If everything's racist, then nothing is. Let's continue, shall we? Jillian Wutensberg, I think it's pronounced Wustenberg. I think that's how you pronounce it, or Wustenberg, 32, and Eric Wustenberg, 42, were each charged with one count of felonious assault, which is punishable by up to 4 years in prison. This is the life that the Democrats want for us. They tell us, you don't need guns, you need police. We need to abolish the police now. And if you have the nerve to exercise your Second Amendment rights, then you will be charged with prison terms. You will face prison. This woman was defending herself and her family, for that matter, and now she's potentially facing 4 years in prison because the aggressors decided to play the victim. Hopefully they get hopefully they drop the charges, because now the whole video has come out. Hopefully these officers look at it and say, well, clearly the black woman was the aggressor. She was simply defending herself. But then what's gonna happen? They're gonna say, "Oh, well, that's that's racist. Prove that racism is real because these people got let go and they put a gun at two black people." Well, they were the ones looking for the problem. You want to fight? By all means. Just don't be surprised when the other person has a better weapon than you. You want to bring a knife? Well, I got my gun. Let's see which wins. Let's see which wins. Right? But anyways, let's keep going. Eric Wustenberg, who was identified on the Oakland University website as a Veteran Support Service Coordinator, also was fired from his job. Wow. Incredible. Incredible. This man, he was fired from his job when he wasn't even the one holding the gun, first of all. Okay? Let's keep going. We have seen the video and we deem this behavior unacceptable, University spokesman Brian Beerley said, adding that Hugh has been notified of his employment and has been terminated. In Thursday news conference, Oakland County Sheriff Michael Bochard, or Bocard, I don't know how to pronounce it, said the suspects each had legal handguns and concealed pistol licenses, but the charges stem from using their guns to threaten the victims. Don't call them victims. This is a bunch of bull. The victims were the people with the guns. They were the ones getting threatened. They were the ones getting harassed. And yet you have the nerve to call the aggressors, the black woman and her daughter, the victims? That's a bunch of bull. This is infuriating to me. It really is. When did they become the victims? The moment they realized that they were screwed and they fucked with the wrong person? Spare me the freaking BS. You picked a fight. Now go through with it. You wanted a fight. Well, you got one. And it turns out the one you had was your opponent and was armed. Well, you fucked with the wrong person. That's what you did. But now they're being called the victims. No gunshots were fired and there were no injuries in the incident. And it's a good thing too, because I guarantee you, if the black woman and her daughter decided to ramp things up, I guarantee you there would have been shots fired, and I wouldn't have felt bad in any single way. You pick a fight and then you lose. Well, that's your fault. That's your fault. Bocard said the sheriff's detectives investigating the case were presented with two very different stories from the two different groups, with both sides claiming they felt extremely threatened. I'll tell you which side was extremely threatened. The woman with the gun. That is why she pulled out her gun. Because in my case, for example, from my perspective, I do have my own firearms as well. I never pull out my firearm until I feel like I am extremely threatened. I'm not the kind of person who's gonna just whip it out and just like woo Wild West. No, I only pull it out when I feel like there's no other option for me. There's no alternative at this point, right? This woman clearly felt that way. They were blocking her car. They were preventing her from leaving the parking lot. Clearly, the logical thing is get the hell away, and if I have to pull out my gun, I will do so. A gun is it's a huge equalizer. Trust me. That's why I'm a huge supporter of the Second Amendment. Authorities are aware of two videos of the incident, Bocard said. They depict a couple who, over the course of the videos, enter the vehicle and leave the scene, and a mother and her two daughters remain outside the vehicle. So they do know about this. The cops do know about the two perspectives. Hopefully they know about the full video and realize that the victims were the ones who took out their guns. Or at least the one who took out the gun. The incident started about 6 p.m. when the Wuttenbergs were leaving the Chipotle restaurant and unnamed victims were coming in. Really, USA Today, really? You're going to go with that? And again, this is why I'm very critical of the media. USA Today clearly acknowledges there's two different videos. The one from the perspective of the black family, where they think, oh, we are the victims, and the video that depicts everything that happened from beginning to end. And yet the USA Today has the audacity to name the white people, the Wustenbergs, as the aggressors when they were the ones who were in fear for their life. Here's the thing. I pick my own battles. That's one of the things that I've been taught growing up. Not every battle is worth fighting. I pick my battles. If I see something that annoys me, if I think to myself, is this worth making a scene over? Is it no? Then whatever. I forget about it. Here's the thing. If someone bumps into me, I'm just like, what the heck? But just forget about it. Just forget about it. It's not worth throwing a scene over, right? But some people, they have to make a scene. They have to make it grand. They have to make a show out of everything. Out of everything. Really. Here's an example. Someone bumps into me, right? By accident or what, on purpose, whatever. I'm just like, what the heck? And I'm just like, oh, whatever. But someone like this woman think, oh, someone bumped into me. Oh, I'm gonna yell at them. I'm gonna curse at them. I'm gonna bang their car. I'm gonna block them from leaving the parking lot. Over what? Over they bumped their daughter on the shoulder by accident. Look, at least give them the benefit of the doubt. And if it was on purpose, is it worth fighting over? Like, really? Like, seriously, when I go to a restaurant and I see that they put tomatoes on my burger, right? When I say no tomatoes, you know what's my reaction? I say, whatever. I take off the tomatoes and I eat it. But some people, like this person, like this black woman, is probably gonna be like one who's like, excuse me, but I ordered no tomatoes and I have tomatoes on my burger. I wish to speak to the manager, please, and I want a full refund for my food. That's the kind of woman I think she is, making a big deal out of everything. But this woman that I'm showing you right now, the woman with the gun, again going back to gun woman, she was in every right. Under normal circumstances, I would question her decision to pull out a gun. But knowing how recently everything's just been crazy, this 16-year-old boy was shot and killed. His 14-year-old friend was critically wounded. Over what? They were just joyriding. They were just driving around, and they got shot. The man they arrested, this man right here, the man who's been arrested, he shot an SUV driver. Why? For no reason at all. He just thought, oh, this is an SUV driver. And then boom, he shot a driver for no particular reason. It's clear that this couple has seen the news. They know what's going on. People will get hurt for anything nowadays, especially like stuff like this. So under these circumstances, I can understand why she would pull out her gun. I really do. Because seeing the news, would you really want to play that way? Like, really? Would you really want to take that risk? But for the USA Today, I'll tell you this. You should be embarrassed of yourselves, USA Today, and any other mainstream media outlet out there who is labeling the black woman and her daughter as the victims, when in reality they were the ones who were picking a fight. But the moment they turned out that the fight that they decided to pick turns out that they were going to lose, knowing that the woman that they were picking on, they were intentionally harassing, had a gun, that's when the police played the victim. I'm sorry, but you don't get to have it both ways. You want to pick a fight? At least go through with it. Just don't be surprised when the person you try to pick a fight with has a better weapon than you. I mean, seriously. Think about it. But today's lesson over this video in general is just ask yourself this. Is this worth making a scene over? Someone bumped your shoulder. Is it worth making a video about it, calling them racist, and harassing them and smacking their car? Probably not. Probably not. But again, it's infuriating to me. So props to Tim Pool. At least by the end of the day, he acknowledged that he jumped the gun, and I appreciate that. Tim Pool, very nice guy. That's why I listen to him a lot. He's willing to admit when he is wrong. But the media isn't always like this at all. USA Today. This literally was updated just recently, like literally like an hour ago, Eastern Standard Time, like around 2 hours ago, maybe. And even though the full video of the woman, the black woman, literally antagonizing and harassing this woman, even though the full video is shown that the black woman and her daughter were the aggressors, they still like to paint it as the gun woman being the aggressor, when in reality it was the other way around. Guys, like this video, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, share this video or not share this video. It's up to you. It's America. It's a free country. And that's one thing that I love about this country. It's a free country. You can do whatever you want. So share this video if you want to, like the video if you'd like to, and then subscribe if you'd like to as well if you want to see more content if you want to see this kind of content. But what do you guys think about this? Do you think that under the current circumstances, the woman, in this case gun woman, had every right to pull out her gun? Do you think under normal circumstances, do you think pulling out a gun would have been a little bit too extreme? Again, under normal circumstances. Under normal circumstances, you think pulling out a gun was required. But under these current circumstances, do you think pulling out a gun was a requirement, in this case justified? What do you think of the husband getting fired for his job? What do you think of these two people, these two parents? I'm assuming they're parents, or in this case, this couple. What do you think of this couple potentially facing years in prison because they were defending themselves because they felt threatened. That's the country we live in right now, unfortunately, where the aggressors are labeled as victims and the victims are labeled as aggressors. But hey, only we can do something to prevent it, and that is hold the media accountable. But until then, we're gonna have to deal with their BS.